Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Charlie Rowen here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if you didn't know, only 25% of you guys have subscribed to us, so please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In today's deep dive, we will be looking at Muzan Kibutsuji. Muzan was the first demon and the progenitor of demons in the universe of Kimetsu no Yaiba. He is also the demon who personally attacked and killed Tanjiro's family, and who turned Nezuko into a demon. He is the main antagonist of the series and the most powerful demon who ever lived. Muzan's physical appearance is like that of a man in his late 20s with unnaturally pale skin, pale enough that one could believe he was unhealthy or sickly. He has curly black hair and sharp almond-shaped eyes. His pupils are vertical, like a cat's, and the irises are plum red. His most inhuman aspect other than his eyes in this state were his sharp, naturally blue nails. In his first appearance, when encountering Tanjiro for the first time, Muzan is seen wearing a white fedora with a red ribbon and a somewhat extravagant outfit. The outfit consisted of an embroidered black tuxedo and a white tie over a black dress shirt, and white dress pants. He also wore black loafers. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Muzan had let out a couple of hee-hees and come-ons. In Rui's flashback, Muzan, the Demon King, had a different hairstyle and outfit, with straight hair that parted down the middle, a loose-fitting tuxedo, and a white half-cloak. We aren't fully sure if the form Muzan is in is fully his true form, as he can change his appearance and form. During his meeting with the lower-ranked top demons, he arrived disguised as an elegant woman wearing a long black yukata, a disguise done so well that the lower ranks did not at first recognize him. Later, he transformed into the adopted, sickly son of an old couple, taking the form of a young boy. Near the end of his life, after being exposed to Tamayo's poison, Muzan's hair increased in length and became snow white, and his body was covered in red spots and mouths all over. As the Demon Slayers fought to kill him, the wounds he received from Yorichi nearly 500 years ago began to surface, as they had never really healed. As the King of Demons, Muzan has enhanced strength, speed, and durability beyond any other demon. He had to be weakened multiple ways just for the Demon Slayers to fight him somewhat evenly, and even yet they still died in droves. He had the aforementioned shape-shifting powers, which he could use to create whips, blades, and tentacles from his body to attack his enemies. His blood was what turned humans into demons, and demons could grow stronger over time by consuming more of Muzan's blood. Every human and demon had a distinct limit to the amount of blood they could consume, and if they consumed too much, they would swell up and die, crumbling into dust. Muzan for that reason secreted his blood from his claws and extra appendages in battle, slowly poisoning his enemies with his blood, either slowly killing them or turning them into a demon as the battle continued. All demons had some sense of autonomy, but Muzan could normally exert his will on all but the most powerful. For the most powerful, however, they served Muzan out of fear of his overwhelming strength. Unlike the other demons, Muzan could regenerate even if his head was destroyed. This was likely due to him having 7 hearts and 5 brains spread throughout his body, with his survival ensured as long as one of either remained. This left the only way to kill him being either the sun or the use of the red blades to systemically cut and burn every inch of his body until he ran out of energy to regenerate. Now on to his history. 1,000 years before Muzan was even born, he had to struggle to survive. His heart stopped several times in his mother's womb and was said to have been stillborn, barely surviving cremation by crying out before they set him ablaze. He had been sickly all his life, and as a young man had been diagnosed with an illness that would take his life before his 20th birthday. The doctor treating Muzan gave him a special prototype medicine. At first, Muzan did not feel the cure's effects, and in a fit of rage, killed the doctor. It was only after doing so that he discovered that the medicine had worked. Muzan had become the first demon. Muzan had no issue having to kill humans to survive, but hated that he was now unable to walk in the sun. At that moment, he regretted killing his doctor, not because of taking his life, but because he had not been able to perfect the medicine derived from a blue spider lily. Muzan searched the entire country for the medicine, and because he could not find it, once he learned he could make more demons, he began to do so, with plans to have them search the nation and the world at large to either find the mysterious flower, or find a way to overcome the sun so that he could become, in his eyes, a perfect being. About 450 years before the main story began, Yorichi, the head demon slayer at the time, encountered Muzan and a newly transformed demoness named Tamayo. Tamayo had begged Muzan to cure her of her illness so that she could live with her family. Muzan lied to her, transforming her into a demon, then setting her onto her family. Muzan taunted Tamayo and kept her with him to amuse him. During this time, he soon encountered the demon slayer Michikatsu Tsugikuni. Sensing the demon slayer's fear of his own mortality, Muzan tempted him with promises of immortality and power. Michikatsu, who was always jealous of his younger brother, accepted the offer and became the demon Kokushibo. From that point onwards, he worked as Muzan's second-in-command while the 12 Kizuki were being formed. Soon after, Muzan and Tamayo encountered Yorichi Sugikuni. Muzan, upon meeting him, stated he had lost interest in swordsmen who could use breathing techniques, both used as a dismissive taunt and as an insult alluding to Michikatsu's fall. Muzan's countenance terrified Yorichi, yet as the demon lord attacked, Yorichi was able to systemically identify his abnormal anatomy, and with 13 techniques was able to destroy most of Muzan's vital organs. As Muzan lay there, Yorichi, in a moment of pity, asked Muzan what life was worth to him. Muzan did not respond with words, instead erupting in rage. He blew up his body into 1,800 distinct lumps of flesh. Yorichi had been able to cut 1,500 of them, but the other 300 escaped and had been able to reform. Tamayo had used this moment to run away, and Muzan had not been able to locate her. Ever since that incident, Muzan tirelessly hunted for any sun-breathing users, killing anyone who seemed even somewhat related. This, unfortunately, put the Kamado family on his radar. As they practiced Hinokami Kagura, a breathing technique most similar to sun-breathing, and because they wore Hanafuda earring, something normally only worn by sun-breathing users. At the beginning of the main series, while Tanjiro Kamado is away at town, Muzan attacks his family and proceeds to inject them with his blood. He believes that perhaps due to them being a family practicing the sun-breathing technique, he could hopefully create a demon capable of withstanding the sun. To his disappointment, they all seem to have died from his blood's poison. Muzan, believing that creating a sun-proof demon was a fruitless endeavor, left before Tanjiro arrived, and before the reveal that Tanjiro's little sister, Nezuko, had survived and turned into a demon. Since Muzan can normally locate any demon he has given blood to, he assumes Nezuko is dead, like the rest of the Kamado family. This is due to him being unaware of his curse being removed from Nezuko, making him unable to detect her whereabouts. Muzan is first mentioned when the previous water pillar, Sakonji Urokodaki, tells Tanjiro that Muzan was the enemy of the Kamado family, and that he might be the one capable of turning Nezuko back into a human. Later on, after becoming a demon slayer proper, Tanjiro encounters Muzan through happenstance in a crowd in Asakusa, Tokyo. Tanjiro angrily confronts him but is thrown off when Muzan's wife and daughter ask if he has any relation to them. Muzan denies it quickly, saying that the boy is confused. Then, before anyone could react, turned a random person into a demon. He moved his family away from the crowd while Tanjiro was forced to face the demonified man. The next time we encounter Muzan, he is drastically different. During a meeting of the lower ranks of the 12 Kizuki, Muzan appears in the form of an elegant woman. He expresses disgust and disappointment that Rui, one of their own, was defeated. He then stated that due to this failure, he would disband the lower ranks, and that he would now lead only the upper ranks. He kills 2 of the lower ranks nearly instantly, Kaminue for simply thinking insubordinate thoughts, and Mukago for openly contradicting him. The third demon, Wakaraba, attempts to escape, but Muzan catches up and decapitates him, and due to Muzan's control over demons, he can stop the demon from regenerating. The last of the lower ranks Muzan kills is Rokuro, who tried to plead that he just needed more of Muzan's blood to grow in power to prove himself. Muzan became first annoyed, then angry beyond reasonable measure, killing the demon. The last and only surviving lower rank was Enmu. Enmu stated he enjoyed seeing humans suffering, and that he was thankful that Muzan was killing him last, so that he could enjoy that bit of suffering just a bit more. Muzan pauses from this, and in feeling the sincerity in Enmu's words, decides to reward the lower rank 1 demon with a high amount of blood. This act nearly kills the demon, but he survives, gaining amazing strength almost matching the power of the upper rank demons. Muzan then gave Enmu one last chance to prove that the lower ranks were not useless. The next we meet Muzan is him masquerading as a small boy named Toshikuni, pretending to have a skin condition that prevented him from stepping into the sun. Akaza, the upper rank 3 Kizuki, reports to Muzan that he had been able to slay the flame pillar Kyojuro Rengoku. Muzan replies with displeasure, berating Akaza for not being able to kill the other demon slayers and for not finding any more information on the blue spider Lily. In the red light district, Muzan talks to Daki, the at the time upper rank 6 demon. She was in the middle of consuming one of the brothel workers, an act he praised her for, stating he hoped she'd become even crueler and stronger. Before he left, he mentions knowledge he gained about Nezuko's existence and leaves it to Daki to kill her. After Daki and Daki's elder brother Gyutaro's death, Muzan orders the upper ranks to meet in the Infinity Castle, the 12 Kizuki's main lair, created and manipulated by the demon Nakime. There, Muzan berates the upper ranks, stating that he won't allow failures such as Daki and Gyutaro. He states his regret putting any confidence in Daki, and that of Gyutaro, who had fought since the beginning. He then tells the upper rank demons that he needs them to serve with suicidal devotion, stating that he hates change. He states that he hasn't changed for nearly 1,000 years and that he's almost perfect. He then sends the upper rank 5 and 4 demons Gyoko and Hantengu to destroy the swordsmith village. During the aftermath, Muzan learns that the 2 demons died, but their deaths are overshadowed by the discovery that Nezuko had been able to overcome the sun. His joy at being right in his assault of the sun-breathing family overshadowing his disappointment. He prepares his upper ranks for an invasion into the Demon Slayer's stronghold. Before we get back into the dive, I would like to say that in case you guys didn't know, we are a secondary channel to our main channel, We the Celestials. We the Celestials is full of fun what-if stories. If you have this sugar tooth for great storytelling, please give that channel a visit as well. If you are interested in the content we share with all channels, make sure you click the icon on the top right corner, or check the description below for a link to the channel. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the dive. During the final training arc in the manga, Muzan appoints Nakime as upper rank 4, and through Kokushibo, makes a new upper rank 6 demon in the Demon Slayer Thunder Breath user, Kaigaku. Using Nakime, Muzan tracks down the Demon Slayer's home base and the general location of all Demon Slayers, allowing him to prepare an attack on their base. Muzan then appears at the Ubuyashiki mansion and sees Kaguya, the current head of the Demon Slayer's corps. Muzan mocks Kaguya for the latter's weak appearance. Kaguya dismisses the insult and tries to lecture Muzan, pointing out that the Demon Slayer Corps, and Pillars specifically, would never give up trying to kill him. Muzan laughs and proceeds to attack Kaguya. This was all a setup, as Kaguya had arranged for explosives to be planted in the mansion. Muzan is caught in the explosion and injured by both the blast and by spikes acting as shrapnel. Before Muzan can fully regenerate, Tamayo appears and uses her blood demon art to keep Muzan in place, whilst also injecting him with a drug to turn Muzan human. Using this opportunity, Gyome, the stone pillar, appears and destroys Muzan's head. However, the Demon Lord, while fighting the effects of the humanizing drug and the damage from the explosion, instantly regrows his head. As the other pillars rush to finish off Muzan, the Infinity Castle opens up beneath them, scattering them. Muzan claims as he falls that he will slaughter them all by the end of the night. The Demon Slayers manage to beat the majority of upper-ranked demons and attempt to locate Muzan. However, unfortunately, several lower-ranked members of the Corps find Muzan's cocoon, a pulsating orb of flesh he hid in to slowly recover. Emerging from his cocoon, Muzan kills all the Demon Slayers in his proximity, consuming some to try and regain the stamina lost from his struggle against Tamayo. He picks up her decapitated head, mocking her for being unable to kill him, and stating that her drug was useless. Tamayo angrily demands Muzan to return her family to her in response. Muzan then smiles, replying that she should join them on the other side, crushing her head and killing her. He then begins looking for Demon Slayers to slaughter, reaffirming his vows to kill all of them. Using Nakime's control of the Infinity Castle, Muzan is placed face-to-face with Tanjiro and Giyu, the Water Pillar. Muzan asks Tanjiro why the latter is so obsessed with getting revenge when he survived his family's massacre. He then proceeds to say that he, Muzan, is like a great calamity, and that humans can't take revenge on natural disasters like rain, winds, volcanic eruptions, or earthquakes that take the life of those they love, and that humans keep on living in those situations. He then says that to fight him would be the same sort of fruitless endeavor as to fight a natural disaster. He then concludes that the Demon Slayers are a group of deviants, and that he is tired of dealing with them, as he is the only one who truly wants to put an end to the fight. Tanjiro, who had been able to show kindness and empathy to every demon he had fought and slain, becomes enraged at Muzan's words, and states that Muzan should not have been allowed to have been born. Their fight begins. Muzan extends his arms into long-bladed whips to keep Giyu and Tanjiro at bay. Tanjiro manages to dodge and weave through Muzan's strikes to try and close in, but at the last second takes a slash near his eye. Giyu pulls Tanjiro away, reminding the young demon slayer that Muzan is more powerful than any of the upper demons. Muzan wonders if he could be defeated by just 3 pillars, as he declares that Mitsuri and Obanai, the Love and Serpent pillars respectively, were killed by Nakime. He begins attacking again in earnest, with Tanjiro barely able to dodge due to his injured eye. Tanjiro stumbles and Muzan capitalizes on the mistake, but before he can land a killing blow, Mitsuri appears, smashing the walls and attacking Muzan with her love-breathing techniques. She is unable to inflict any real damage on Muzan and expresses frustration, but Muzan is shocked to see that not only she but Obanai as well are alive and well. Muzan, angry, demands an explanation from Nakime, only to learn that she is under the control of Yushiro, Tamayo's assistant, and another demon free of his control. Angered by this, Muzan tries to wrestle control of the castle back by attempting to absorb his cells from Nakime, but attacks from Giyu and Obanai force Muzan into the defensive. This allows Yushiro to take full control of the castle, shifting it at his whim to assist the demon slayers. Muzan remotely detonated Nakime's head, killing her and destroying the castle, which begins to force everyone out. Muzan performs more sweeping slashes and manages to cut Tanjiro again. The fighters begin to lose balance and Muzan attempts to kill Mitsuri. Tanjiro throws a broken sword, which stabs Muzan in the head, causing the demon to miss. Muzan's ire with Tanjiro rises. Now in a city, the demon slayers are told to stall Muzan for 1 more hour and a half until sunrise. Muzan, furious, now erupts whips from his spine, emerging from the debris and daring the demon slayers to try, wildly swinging all his limbs. The Pillar sees a chance to slash him, but to their surprise, Muzan regenerates too quickly to be decapitated. Before Muzan could fatally wound the Pillars, hordes of lesser-ranked demon slayers push the Pillars out of the way, ready and willing to die as human shields as Muzan murders dozens of them. As he kills, he says quietly that they were lucky to die immediately, pointing out that he'd injected his blood into Tanjiro to slowly torture and kill him. Muzan realizes slowly that the Demon Slayer marks allow the user to be resistant to his poisonous blood. Angered, he begins targeting Mitsuri, attempting to land a killing blow. Gyome saves her again. Sanemi takes this chance to slash Muzan from behind. Before Muzan can retaliate fully, Sanemi throws vials at Muzan, setting him on fire. Muzan states that such a tactic is dirty. Sanemi retorts that Muzan is the dirty one, vowing to kill him. The battle rages on, but the Hashira are unable to overwhelm or even fight Muzan evenly. Mitsuri, who had been unable to do anything but evade, is injured enough to back out of the fight. At this point, only 15 minutes have passed, yet Giyu loses the ability to hold his sword due to the poison. At this point, another surprise meets the Demon Lord as Chachamaru, Tamayo's cat servant, appears, throwing syringes at the Pillars, dousing them with a serum that counteracts Muzan's poison. Muzan kills the cat, annoyed at Tamayo's resistance even after death. Obanai at this point unlocks the red blade but begins to lose consciousness as the fight continues, barely able to dodge Muzan's devastating attacks and being sent into the air. He barely dodges as Muzan is attacked and sliced by attacks he was unable to perceive. Muzan deduces that someone is attacking him while hidden in Yushiro's technique. Piercing the illusion, he narrows the location of his 3 attacks, being none other than Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Kanao. Obanai takes the chance with this distraction to slice Muzan's arm with the red blade, which slows his regeneration. The Demon Slayers begin to fight Muzan as one, launching a relentless assault on him. Suddenly, Muzan performed a mysterious technique, allowing him to strike and knock back all of his attackers, leaving them unable to fight Muzan. Before Muzan can kill any more of the Demon Slayers, he is interrupted by Tanjiro. Muzan sees Tanjiro's face, mutated from his poison, and comments that he looks terrible, musing on which of them was the true demon now. Tanjiro merely states that it is time to finish the fight. Muzan sees Yoriichi in Tanjiro's gaze and fighting technique, and expresses disgust, but also scorn, as Tanjiro is nowhere near as skilled as the first Demon Slayer. Muzan, however, realizes that Tamayo had left a final poison, in the off chance that the poison to turn him human didn't work. A poison that would age him 50 years a second. He was able to surmise that due to how long he had been fighting, he had been aged 9,000 years. This weakened Muzan is fought to a standstill, and just as Tanjiro is about to succumb to exhaustion, Obanai comes to his rescue, assisting him in the fight. Muzan begins to panic, truly feeling exhaustion for the first time. He attempts to run. As Muzan is cornered and unable to run, he attempts to split his body the same way he did against Yoriichi, but discovers that Tamayo had planned for this, and had a 3rd poison in his system that slowed down cell division and prevented his splitting ability. Muzan communicates with the essence of Tamayo, who was within him after he absorbed her. With glee, she reveals that she had not given Muzan 3 poisons, but had given him 4, the 4th causing Muzan to cough up blood. Tamayo then mocks Muzan, telling him that she doesn't need to be stronger than him to help kill him, and just weakening him will suffice, because just as he would do anything to live, they would do everything to kill him. Muzan releases a paralytic poison at Tanjiro and Obanai, leaving Tanjiro convulsing. With only 25 minutes left before dawn, Muzan seems to finally have the opportunity to run. He is stopped, however, by Inosuke, who attacks Muzan, crying and screaming in rage over his injuries and the deaths of his comrades. Muzan is too weak to use his more fine-tuned techniques, forcing him to grab Inosuke with his harm tentacle. Zenitsu intervenes, saving Inosuke, giving the latter the good news that Tanjiro is still alive, and thus they must all live so that they can return to Nezuko happy. Inosuke and Zenitsu fight Muzan in tandem. They are joined by Tanjiro, utilizing one of his most powerful Hinokami Kagura sun-breathing techniques. With the last of their energy, Inosuke and Zenitsu give Tanjiro just enough of an opening to pin Muzan into a wall. The demon is so weak that he cannot even pull out the blade. Muzan tries to kill Tanjiro, but Kanroji and Sanemi tear apart his arms and tentacles. Muzan attempts to open his body, revealing a bestial mouth to consume Tanjiro, but Obanai puts himself in harm's way, allowing himself to be mauled. The sun finally begins to rise, and Muzan, panicking, enlarges himself, adopting the form of a large demonic baby, absorbing Tanjiro in the process. As Muzan attempts to escape the demon slayers, weak and strong, do everything they can to slow the demon as he burns in the sun. As all seems lost, Tanjiro, awakening within Muzan, activated the red blade, searing Muzan from the inside and causing him to flinch. That last second of distraction was enough. Muzan's body, no longer strong enough to compete with the sun, began to disintegrate, killing the Demon King. Muzan's last act was thinking back to the words of Yoriichi and Kaguya, and he decides to insert as many of his cells as possible into Tanjiro, attempting to transform him into the new Demon King. Muzan had a vindictive, arrogant, hypocritical personality. He struggled to live all his human life, yet did not respect the lives of others. He didn't regret killing the doctor for killing's sake, but because the doctor had not perfected his treatment. He believes himself superior to all others, a near-perfect being, and as such, any failures are the faults of others, and never himself. He prides strength above all else and has a cruel way of making the determinations. For those astute enough to remember, when Muzan killed the lower-ranked demons, he killed them in order of weakest to strongest. This fixation on strength, and on looking down on others, led to several blunders on his part. He sent one upper pillar to kill Nezuko, and when that failed, he only sent two to destroy the village that equipped demon slayers with their weapons. If he had intervened directly, he would have likely been able to slay the demon slayers. As his death was the contribution of Kaguya's sacrifice, Tamayo and Yoriichi's assistance, and the intense training the demon slayers had just completed, which had allowed the pillars and a few skilled demon slayers to unlock the demon-slaying marks. He died not regretting his actions, but taking Kaguya's words of leaving a legacy to heart. His act of turning Tanjiro into a demon, both a desire to leave a legacy and a desire to sour the victory of the demon slayers. Ultimately, he failed, for Tanjiro's love for others had overcome Muzan's fear of death. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there is a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editors for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you like the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day!